to truly understand a human being. Perhaps it is one of the hardest things in the world. For more than a century, psychology has been trying to understand the human soul. But fully understanding something this complex is not really possible. And yet, we don't give up. We try to understand people. We try to understand ourselves. One of the most important figures who devoted his life to this subject is Carl Gustav Jung. What makes Jung special is not only the ideas he put forward. His thoughts draw from mythology, religion, Eastern philosophy, and Western psychology. Even today, we can see his influence in the films we watch, the series we follow, and the games we play. He spent most of his 85-year life thinking, producing, and trying to understand the human psyche. In this video, instead of explaining all of Jung's ideas, we will talk about 3 concepts that affected me the most: the shadow, the persona, and Peter Pan syndrome. Let's begin. The shadow, the darkness within us. Can a person be completely evil? Sometimes when we see someone, we can easily say, this person is completely bad. But can we say the opposite? Can we say, this person is completely good? According to Jung, no. Every human being has a dark side. And Jung calls this darkness the shadow. What is the shadow? It is what society condemns or considers sinful or repressed desires, our jealousy, our anger, and sometimes the thoughts that pass through our minds but that we cannot even admit to ourselves or speak about. It is not possible for a person to be completely pure and good, Jung says. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. So the real issue is not appearing good. The real issue is being able to recognize the potential for evil within us. Because if there is light, there must inevitably be a shadow. Jung has another powerful quote. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. In other words, a person cannot grow by ignoring the darkness within. If we look at real life, we can see examples of this. Even the people we call the best can reveal cruel sides when we look closely at their lives. Because that potential exists in every human being. There are striking examples that support this idea. One of them is Christopher Browning's book, Ordinary Men. The book tells the story of Reserve Police Battalion 101, which participated in the mass killing of Jews during the Nazi era. This unit was not made up of fanatic soldiers. Most of them were middle-aged, ordinary men, not even strongly committed to Nazi ideology. And yet, when the right conditions were provided, these ordinary people carried out horrific acts. What does this show us? That evil does not belong only to evil people. That potential exists within all of us. And this is exactly what Jung's concept of the shadow explains. We see this in films as well. In Fight Club, Tyler Durden is the shadow of the main character. In Breaking Bad, Walter White's transformation into Heisenberg. In God of War, Kratos' uncontrollable bursts of rage. These stories do not tell the story of a battle between good and evil. They tell the story of a person's battle with the darkness within. And perhaps that is why they are so powerful. Persona, the masks we wear. Now let's move on to another important concept, persona. According to Jung, the persona is our social mask. We are different at school, different at work, different with friends, completely different at home. Is that hypocrisy? Not necessarily. Persona is a defense mechanism. It is necessary for us to exist within society. No one can function at work while fully exposing their shadow. We play certain roles, and that is normal. But do you know when the problem begins? When we wear the mask for too long, Jung says. The danger is that people identify with their personas. In other words, the mask eventually becomes our identity. A professor becomes nothing but an academic role. A manager feels obligated to appear strong all the time. A person becomes so focused on what others think that they forget their true nature. And here is something even more dangerous. Persona is not only used for adaptation, it can also be used for manipulation. Serial killer Ted Bundy is one of the most terrifying examples. He wore a charismatic, educated, and charming mask to deceive people. So persona does not only protect us, Sometimes it enables us to harm others. Is it possible to live without a mask? For a lifetime? No. But there was a time when we all lived without one. When we were children. A child does not worry about image. They do not constantly think about how they appear. They simply are. Perhaps that is why we long for childhood. Because living without a mask has a unique lightness. And this brings us to the third concept. Peter Pan syndrome. Refusing to grow up. There is a concept Jung often referred to, Puer Aeternus, meaning the eternal adolescent. It describes a person who grows physically but remains a child psychologically. Someone who avoids responsibility. Who sees life only as a game. Who retreats to their parents when faced with difficulty. Today, this is known as Peter Pan syndrome. Peter Pan never grows up. He does not face the real world. He lives in a fantasy world. Now let's be honest. Being a child is easy. There is little responsibility. There is support. There is minimal risk. Life feels lighter. But being an adult requires sacrifice. According to Jung, growing up is a sacrifice. You must give up the comfort of childhood. But here is the interesting part. Not growing up is also a sacrifice. Jordan Peterson makes a powerful point here. He says, either you sacrifice comfort and grow, or you sacrifice your potential and remain a child. Both have a cost. But refusing to grow has a heavier price, because there is a voice inside every human being. A voice that says, you can do more. Silencing that voice slowly causes a person to decay from within. Conclusion. Jung tells us this. A human being is neither completely good nor completely evil. Neither entirely a mask nor entirely authentic. Neither fully a child nor fully an adult. A human being is a struggle. Someone who faces their shadow, recognizes their mask, and chooses to sacrifice in order to grow. Perhaps that is when true maturity begins. And maybe the point is not to be perfect, but to be brave enough to confront your own darkness. Because enlightenment does not begin by imagining the light, but by accepting the darkness. If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.